Hello and welcome to another episode of our Enneagram studies. We will start with a salute to Gurdjieff, who has brought this information to us, information which help us to be better men, better human beings, and to have the possibility of evolution in our daily life. My name is Alexandru Eugen Cristea. I have authored many books on the Gurdjieff teaching, including the Enneagram, the internal exercises, and the special sacred dances, the movements of Gurdjieff. You can see here some of my Enneagram books. I am also an editor to the Force of Gurdjieff collection. You can find it on Amazon. From this collection, I would like to recommend the Enneagram books written by my friend and colleague, Adrian Mirel Petrariu. You can see two of them here. He has authored some other excellent books like the Mythology of the Energy and many more, so please check them out. So in what will follow in today's episode of Enneagram Studies, I will introduce the use of the musical octave for the processes on the Enneagram. As I have already mentioned in the previous videos, we need three forces so that we will reach the desired result. This means that up until now we have taken into consideration only the first octave, which is the main octave. That octave will get us to the desired result. But in order to reach there, we will need two other forces, not just one force. And these two other forces will also generate some octaves. This means that the second and the third force will also generate octaves which will help the main octave reach its end, the end result that we want to achieve. The musical octave with its musical notes, that is Do, Re, Mi, Fa, Sol, La, Si, Do, can be used to illustrate all this. Not only the steps of each octave, but also the inner correspondences between some of these steps. On the hexade, for example. So this is how the Enneagram looks if we take into consideration all the three octaves. That means we start from point 0, Do, and in point 3 there's a semitone missing, so we need another force, the second force, which will also generate a second octave. And in point 6 we also need a third octave, a third force, which will also generate a third octave. So this is the main idea and the general image. Let's now take it step by step, note by note, and see all the details. After one impulse, the first Do, and two stages, Re and Mi, the energy of the process goes down, and an interval appears, just like in the musical octave. And another impulse is needed so that the process can continue. If not, the process will not continue. It will either become still or go back to Do after some time. But a Do with a different quality, of course, because we have tried, but we didn't succeed. Just like when you start to learn a foreign language. Knowing nothing and then you stop. When you get the energy to begin again, if you ever do, and this is an intended pun, of course, it will not be exactly from the same place, knowing nothing, but you will know a few words. Still, it will be far from the beginning, as you don't know the language yet. So, the second octave comes in to fill the interval after the first three notes of the first octave, and it starts with a second Do. I have marked this with a Do inside a square. So, the first octave uses this impulse and goes up two more notes, Fa and Sol, and then comes to another interval. The second octave goes up two notes after the impulse to Re and Mi, which is also inside the square, and also reaches an interval. Both the interval for the first octave and for the second octave are at the same point, at point number 5 on the Enneagram. So a third octave comes in with another Do. I have marked this in a square with gray, to push the first octave up two more notes, La and then Si. And the second octave borrows some of this energy and goes up 2 more notes also, Fa and then Sol. And now we will have also the third octave. So this one will go from Do to Re and then Mi, and then an interval appears. Here at point 8 on the Enneagram, there are 3 simultaneous intervals. Quite a problem. In order to reach the Do with a circle around, which is the desired end result of all our efforts, a sacrifice is usually needed at this point. If not, we will remain at this level of development, which is almost what we wanted. Almost, but not exactly. Sometimes the impulse at point 6 on the Enneagram, the third Do, the gray one, is not strong enough, and the third octave will not reach Re and then Mi. All the energy of the third Do, the gray one, is used by the first octave to reach C. If all the energy is used by the first octave, the second octave may not reach Fa and or Sol. So depending on the particular context, the second and the third octaves can have more or less stages of development. So this is what I wanted to show in today's video, and in the following video I will give an example with all these stages on the second and third octave illustrated. Here you can see some of our websites. So we have the gurdjieffonline.com. There you will find the Ternary Startup, which is a special program for beginners. The program contains theory, information, internal exercises and basic movement exercises, all explained in videos with step-by-step progression. So you can find out there. Also on the gurdjieffonline.com you can see our bookshop with everything we have published up until now, and the links to the Amazon bookstore. And the other website, the gurdjieffmovements.com, it's a website specially dedicated to Gurdjieff movements and sacred dances. And there we have different chapters, different modules based on difficulty, beginner level, intermediate level, more complex, and so on and so forth. So please check it out. All my best.